one person's fault. It's all of us. I don't think we can control it at this point after what the fuck we just witnessed.
Bro, okay.
I had to start another group chat yesterday for me to talk to these guys over here because I was sitting there like on the edge of my seat, fucking shaking, trying to talk to somebody about this shit. And both of them were already, I was like behind watching it. They had already finished it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to fucking start a new group chat so I wouldn't spoil it for you and Pep, who checks the chat like once a month. But,
I mean, oh no, man! I'm just working 3 jobs right now. I'm trying to get 2 houses this year, so I'm just getting my hustle in. You know, selling solar panels and with slinging plates. But yeah, I mean, so the recap, part 3, beginning. What was your feel? How to make you feel? What you enjoyed? Any nostalgia?
For me, I really felt like Hera finally really synced in with her animated counterpart for me in that episode where it was like, all right, that's Hera Syndulla. When she went and approached the council, yeah, I was like, okay, her attitude's like, oh, did you fight or did you just sit back and wait to see who came out on top? You know, I was like, hell yeah, that's Hera Syndulla.
I had a similar feeling in episode 4 when they're calling her to come help at the planet and she answers and she's like, we're already here. I was like, oh, she's here.
Hera's fucking.
I didn't mean to dogleg onto episode 4, but we can.
I mean, it happens. The one thing that actually I actually got a little mad, like when she was going before the council, and they're like, "Oh, you allegedly did this or you allegedly did that." It's like, rumors are rumors, but when there's people who are actually like, and you were in a war with them, and they tell you that, hey, some shit's about to pop off, there's like a 99.9 to infinity chance that that's actually happening. The fact that they were like trying to be like, oh, what are you, like a warmonger? And she's like, no, motherfucker, I just fought to put you in the position that you're in right now. And so I did like Mando said, I did appreciate that little bit of verbal fencing she did with them. And she was like, nah, you guys are bitches. I actually fought in the war, i.e. the 5-star general on my chest. So like shut your fucking mouths. Because even Mon Mothma, when she dropped that line, she kind of looks around at the other holograms and she's like, she did, I thought that was pretty cool.
While we're on that scene, that was actually I know no one really watches the show. It's kind of silly, but Star Wars Resistance, the kind of more 2D animated show that's basically like a racing show for kids that's in the Star Wars universe. Mm-hmm. The main character, Kaz, that's his father who was talking shit there. Yeah.
He was kind of being an asshole to her.
Yeah, and he's an asshole to his kid too on that show. So it was kind of like, well, that's cool that they use that small character to be a dick right there too. And connect all Filoni's projects, even the ones no one cared for. The one no one cared for, I should say.
Man, I'm trying to remember some more stuff about episode 3.
Oh, that's when we see Jason for the first time. So that was cool.
That okay? So Jason, we haven't talked about that. Seeing Jason was awesome. I'm not sold on her mindset about him not already training as a Jedi. I think he should have already been with Ahsoka. Okay, not Jedi, but training in the Force somehow. You know what I'm saying?
But why would Ahsoka train Jason if she didn't do Grogu, though? That's kind of the problem you run into.
No, but go ahead, bud.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying that's my only thing is you've already had her kind of refusing to train someone, so I guess that's kind of where they may have ran into that problem.
I don't think she really refused to train him. I think she knew she wasn't supposed to train him. Is more
okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, and what I was going to say about Jason is, I think the fact that. I think one reason why Hera is a little standoffish about giving her only son up to be trained in the Force was she got to watch what happened to Ezra. The more he trained,
and canon.
There was, and the more that they trained together, especially Ezra, the more the dark side started whispering him. And as a mother, as a parent, I mean, like you don't want to wish that evil upon your kid. Hey, you're gonna work on these super magical abilities, but hey, we didn't tell you in the bio, but there's gonna be whispers of dark spirits in your head. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think she wanted to see that because Darth Maul almost turned Ezra like 3 times.
Ezra's always had an affinity for the dark side. I mean,
And
right after he found out what he was and what he was supposed to be, he found a fucking Sith holocron. You know what I'm saying? Like he was doomed because of that.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And then I think the one thing that we got to give Kanan props on was helping Ezra navigate through that. And I think that, you know, if Jason went with Ahsoka, you know, Ahsoka was essentially like their secret operative in Star Wars Rebels. She was giving them missions, letting them know what was going on this side of the galaxy versus that side of the galaxy, all that shit. And it's just like, you know, like I would think Hera would have a little bit more respect for Ahsoka, but like if you watch Rebels, their only interactions between Ahsoka and Hera are right before some shit's about to pop off. You know what I'm saying? It's always like right. So it's like, hey, the story's coming up, and we're here, and right here is where Ahsoka meets Hera again, and then this, you know, they hit the climax, and then you know there's a 3-episode battle going on, and you know that like I said, as a parent, I wouldn't wish the dark side or the possibility of my child being on the dark side. But I think the one thing Ahsoka should have name dropped on was the fact that if force sensitive kids aren't taught how to behave, or at least
how much worse powers, they can end up being.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point.
You see that in Dark Nihilus. You know what I'm saying? When his daughter did the same thing, like that no one fostered her ability in the Force, and the first time she's like training in anything, her anger and her emotions get the better of her, and she like kills 2 or 3 guards like this who were just sparring with her. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think there's always that, like I would say, hesitation. You know what I'm saying? But I believe there shouldn't be any, especially after, you know, Luke Skywalker saves the galaxy. You know what I'm saying? So there is this shining beacon, you know, in the middle of the Star Wars universe.
My problem is I can't relate to it because I'm not a parent. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the biggest issue. Because and also being a fucking nerd of the universe, it's like I know what they're capable of when they're taught correctly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when I say taught correctly, I don't necessarily mean all of the Jedi, but maybe like I'm talking about Qui-Gon Jinn and Ahsoka when I say that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the Jedi Order as a whole. But definitely Qui-Gon Jinn and definitely Ahsoka for sure. Because they were 2 that were both like there's some shit that I agree with, but there's also some shit I don't agree with. So, you know what I'm saying? Qui-Gon didn't necessarily walk away, but that's why he wasn't on the council. You know what I'm saying? Because he did not align with that shit. So he refused to be on the council because he didn't align with what they were about and how they, not everything, but some things. So it just, because of how, for lack of better words, pure that Qui-Gon Jinn was, he refused to be a part of something that he couldn't align himself with 100%. So that's what I mean when I say something like that. So
yeah, I completely understand. That was actually a really good point to make, man. Like Qui-Gon, I think is the closest that like on that like Jedi Master, because he turned down a position on the council, but I think he's the closest representation besides Ahsoka that we've seen of a gray Jedi. You know what I mean? Like, because when they're talking about Anakin and his emotions and him having attachments, Qui-Gon says, like, yo, sometimes attachments are a good thing. They point you in the right direction for what you're fighting for. You know what I'm saying? And so, being a veteran, you know, that's absolutely true. When you have family, or you get a new niece or a new nephew, or, you know what I'm saying, or your family grows due to marriage, and you have that kind of relationship with either your sister-in-law or your brother-in-law, and you're hanging out with them, you do realize when you go off to war, like, this is what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for my family and to protect the rights that they have. And I think that like Qui-Gon was that kind of dude. You know what I'm saying? I mean, think about it. He's the one who taught Yoda how to become one with the Force. So that there's something that Qui-Gon, I would even say, what's his name, who actually started the clone army for the
Sifo Dyas.
Yeah, Sifo Dyas. I think those were like, that was a turning point. And I think if Mace Windu and Yoda got on that page and allowed the Jedi to follow that curve, they would still be in existence and in full power right now. They wouldn't have been able to be so easily blindsided by the dark side. One point that I was that really struck me was the with Balon, is his kind of like almost kind of like pseudo pacifist viewpoint. You know, he doesn't, like, you think about it, like when he always gives people the option. You know what I'm saying? To, hey, either give me what I want or resist and be destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really think he's a true Sith. I think he's more on Count Dooku's level. He's in, well, not like skill or force wise, but as in the sense that he is a stepping stone for the dark side. You know, because like Sidious had, Dooku.
I 100% believe he utilizes the dark side, but I don't think he has shit all to do with Sith whatsoever.
Yeah, he doesn't have the yellow eyes or any of that shit either.
Yeah, but the difference is every time he's in a scene, he's addressed as my lord, and that was the same thing that people did to Dooku, because Dooku's family is a royal family on the planet he comes from, right? So I
House
think,
Sereno.
I believe that maybe, I'm just throwing out a theory here, that he's like, on a Dooku kind of level, because even Dooku's justification for doing what he did was he believed that they actually needed one person to unite all the planets that made up the Republic and to dictate the actions. He's like, all this fucking voting on this. He's like, we're kind of like skipping the fact that, this fucking planet's having a rebellion, or this one's having, some kind of coup. And he's like, why aren't we as the Jedi actually being peacekeepers? And that's what turned him away.
I didn't make the connection you made about them calling him Lord and Count Dooku as well.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make that connection. But
rewatch episode 4. They call him my Lord, and episode 3 like 5 times. Yeah. They never say Darth or any kind of that. Like, when people referred to Darth Vader, they said Darth Vader. You know what I'm saying? They knew exactly where he belonged. When that's the one. I mean, so like I said, I feel like he's possibly got that, like, I'm not completely evil, because when I first heard of Dooku's justification for leaving the Jedi, he's like, we're not doing our job to the best of our ability. We're kind of doing what the Republic does. We're only helping people who can help us instead of helping everybody.
I think he doesn't want to kill or harm Force sensitive people that he knows are not inherently evil. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But if you get in this fucking way, that motherfucker's like that dude. There was a couple scenes where he was fighting. He was so crisp and clean in everything he did, and what was badass is it wasn't a bunch of CGI with him jumping and flipping around, because he is a big dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, big dude's not going to be doing that. So it was super realistic. That was super fucking bright. Holy shit.
I mean,
what y'all think? I got like 1 or 2 more points on episode 3, and then we're gonna move on to the fucking banger.
Yes, sir.
What y'all think about the spacesuit that Ahsoka wore?
Fucking
Dude,
Vegeta.
that shit looked cheesy as fuck. I'm not.
You saw the meme that I saw.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, dude, where? So there's this randomly somebody's like, hey, you know what? I've got this spacesuit with some room for your Leiku to hang back and be perfectly positioned in this fucking helmet. It's like, come on now, like that was a little bit over the top. I mean, like I could have. I was like when she first put on the suit, I was like, okay, like maybe it's gonna be more like a biohazard helmet where it's just like a big box kind of over the head, and it,
in Clone Wars she had one, and it was just a big glass
dome, right?
Yeah, dome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I guess they didn't want to do that. I don't know.
She looked like she thought it wasn't going to look good or something. Maybe.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
that's why they hire people to make the outfits. You know, they always got to try to add some kind of edgy, some kind of cultural touch to it.
I didn't hate it, but I did think it looked a little goofy.
It looked it looked too clean to me to look like a space unit. It didn't look like it'd ever been used before.
Right.
That, you know what I mean?
And we found a meme. We found a meme on Facebook. What'd you say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, go ahead.
What'd you say, Mando?
Oh, I was saying I said that I'm so used to like movies like Alien where the spacesuits look a little crusty, a little dirty, and like they've been used in missions before. Yeah. That spacesuit that Ahsoka's wearing looks like it was out of a box that she just found. It's never been worn.
Hey, we're gonna give you a brand new spacesuit that fits like latex, and I mean, honestly, like I did think it was a little cheesy. I think that if you looked at all the movies, the TV shows, everything so far, there's a lot of times where they're using like recycled parts, or we haven't focused on spacewalks in a long time. So we're gonna have a more, I would say, retro suit. Like Mando said, it literally looked like it came. That thing had a fucking iron seam on it, bro. Like it's like, okay, you're wearing a space suit. Does it have is it two-breasted or is it single breast? Like it's like, come on now.
Did you share that Vegeta pic? I was gonna try to pull it up.
I thought someone did.
It wasn't you? Fuck.
I thought someone shared it in the one with Clint and all that shit.
Was it
the Mando posting chat wearing?
No, I thought I saw it on the actual news feed on Facebook. Anyways, I'll just explain it because it's funny as fuck either way. But we found somebody shared a meme and I forgot to share it, but it's her in the spacesuit sitting beside Vegeta. It looks so fucking similar that it's not even funny. Like there's even shapes. There's shapes and stuff around the shoulders, and like it's all similar. It's fucking hilarious. And if I really want to hope that is done on purpose.
Like if they say that, that was a Vegeta reference, I'm like, okay, it can look as dumb as it wants.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, I thought that was a little cheesy. Like I said before we started, like, dude, like Sabine was a sharpshooter when she was in Rebels. Like I felt like, oh, like you've been a pacifist for or you haven't fought a battle in 5 or 6 years, but like I'm saying, being in the military.
Do you need me to add that one, or are you just gonna sit there with it?
It's going to you don't get that rusty. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you got a computer guidance targeting system, and you're still just slinging shots out of here like you've never been in a gun chair before. And so that was my only real gripe, besides the spacesuit. You
got it pulled up. Here we go.
She's even got the hip pads.
Look at the hip pads is what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, it's so fucking funny. Thank you, Travis.
My favorite part of that scene is just like, why aren't they just shooting at her? You're in a fucking ship with like guns, and it's like, We're just gonna try to shoot the ship instead of her, who's like standing outside.
Another thing that kind of made it kind of cheesy is remember she hits that flip, and it's like, wait a minute, you're on a moving starship, and you're just gonna hit a flip. What did you got? Like magnet?
I have a theory.
Then she's just chilling there too. She's like, "Hey, come pick me up." Versus Leia, who's like, "Oh, we're gonna fucking Mary Poppins this shit."
Well, I have her jumping and cutting the fucking the ship in space. I have a theory about that. I think that was them trying to say "fuck Rey Skywalker" from when she did it. When she did it on not Jakku, whatever that planet was that she did it on.
It's gonna bother me. Pisana.
To Kylo.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, she did it to Kylo's ship and cut his fucking wing off of his ship. So I think they were like, "Oh yeah, well Ahsoka can do it in space, bitch," and they did that shit.
Oh, I noticed. Like, I don't know if we talked about it last time, but the ship that Morgan and all of them are on—that's the same ship the Bad Batch has, right? The same kind of they fly around in, the same model.
Ooh, I would have to re-look at that scene. But
like,
I mean,
the shuttle. What? I'm 90% sure that the shuttle that Morgan
the
and all them
shuttle. I thought you were talking about
the shuttle, not the Eye of Sion, but the shuttle.
Okay.
No, and when the show started, I'm pretty sure the shuttle that they have is the same model shuttle the Bad Batch uses. I could be wrong, but I was watching. I'm like, that looks like the same shuttle.
Yeah,
like the same model.
All right, is it time?
Yes,
it does.
Four.
Galactic Senate and the Republic Ambassadorial Corps used the same one.
Huh?
Yeah, repeat that real quick.
I'm looking up the shuttle on there, and it says it's the same one that the Galactic Sentinel and the Republic Ambassadorial Corps used for diplomatic missions, and was later utilized by the Jedi Order during the Clone Wars. And the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Sidious, used one.
Okay. So, I mean, it didn't come up in there. So, it might have been something where they were like, hey, let's give this shuttle, like, some kind of familiar accents from another ship that we've already created. But, you know, I mean, or almost like, you know, a lot of Hollywood, if you certain car chases, certain aerial battles, they'll use the exact same a previous film and that's owned by that company, let's say Warner Brothers. They'll use the same fucking scene, but they'll just digitally alter the cars so they look like different cars. Like it happened in Bad Boy 2. That same car scene happens almost identically to the movie with Ian McGregor and Scarlett Johansson, where they're like clones.
Oh, The Island.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't
like
seen that movie, because Conor McGregor is acting in it.
No, Ian McGregor.
Oh, I thought you said Conor McGregor.
No, Ian McGregor. Sorry,
I was like, this movie must be fucking terrible. You know, like that must be terrible.
For some reason, my brain just thought of like Conor McGregor playing Russell Crowe going around the world from South Park, where he's beating everyone up, but Conor McGregor plays him instead.
So, episode 4, The Fallen Jedi. I'm gonna start with that first action scene that we got, bro. Watching what's his name, Harang or
Hu Yang?
Huirang? Huh?
Yeah.
Hu Yang.
Watching Hu Yang fight with that HK droid was awesome.
That was so sick.
Like when he those extra arms flipped up over his shoulders, and he's like, "No, block, fight." And I was like, that was pretty sick, because like they could have made that scene a lot worse and made him just get overpowered. But you know, the fact that he actually knows basic forms of lightsaber combat, I did appreciate that scene, because like just in a previous episode, he's instructing Sabine in certain forms and giving her like the basic strikes, and then like you see him come out and he's actually throwing hands, and I was like, this is well done, good job.
Yeah,
attention to
I knew
detail.
you were gonna like that scene as soon as it came on.
Being the droid that he is and what he specialized in, it only makes fucking sense that he would be able to defend himself and go on the offensive and do stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I feel like if it were another show, but with another writer, like he would have just got fucking lit the fuck up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that would have been the end of Hu Yang for us. But Filoni knows that's an important droid right there. You know what I'm saying?
That fool, right, dude? He's honestly, when he's a hidden gem of the Force. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to him, he's like, oh, I've observed this many Padawans, and he's like, Sabine, like honestly, you've slipped up a lot. Like, remember when he calls her out in episode 2, and he's like, hey, like your hands aren't what they used to be. Have you practiced? And he goes, yeah, it didn't look like you did. And I thought that was pretty funny. Also,
he does have
in that same scene, when Ahsoka came out and started busting out her lightsaber moves, deflecting shit, slicing up some of that team, I thought like that shit looked like a ballet dance, bro. It was so smooth and seamless. You know, I really enjoy how they make Ahsoka seem like some of this shit is effortless. You know, like, because if you go back to Clone Wars, some of the missions that Anakin put her on or volunteered for were like way above her natural level and her aptitude for the Force. But I really do love the way that when she busts out the dual sabers, it's fucking on like Donkey Kong, man. Like she's parrying, twisting, flipping.
At least in this last episode, it was. I mean, the first 2 episodes, there was some lightsaber combat that was kind of like, well, you know, I wish they would have hired the guy from the prequels, but now in this last episode, like, there's no question asked. He checked every fucking checkbox plus some, and did what the fuck we needed, did what the fuck we asked for. I wasn't prepared because I got home late and shit, but I wanted to start this fucking stream with the Star Wars, the main Star Wars song. I can't ever remember the name of it, but I was gonna start the stream with that song, and just has like an anthem and fucking thank Filoni right off the bat. But I mean, I'm so fucking happy, dude. Like, I got a bunch of stuff I want to talk about this episode, but like, I just want to take a second to fucking be appreciative of what we're getting right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't get this before. Like, we didn't. This is on a whole different fucking level as to what we're used to from Disney shows, from Star Wars shows.
Also, in that same battle, I know some people might have different feelings about it, but I like the way that it showed how Sabine and most Mandalorians also use their armor not only just for blocking lightsabers, but she was blocking blasters bolts that were shot at her with them. You know, I think that is phenomenal attention to detail. I like the way that that's all throughout the new continuity. And I think it's, it also hints on why the Mandalorians are so deadly, so skilled. And, if you think about it, if you had a regiment of trained Mandalorians in any part of Star Wars on any side, I think that would have flipped the battle. And I think you guys would agree with me. I mean, like, fucking shit, her Din Djarin, fucking armor, all these fools are like, it's like they have their own special kung fu. You know what I'm saying? And like, I love the way that it's like, it's not just like, a scoundrel versus another person, and then they're hiding behind barrels like an old Western movie. Like, she's actually closing the distance, and we're like, no, motherfucker. Like, yeah, you can't overwhelm me.
I think you just described the book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, her and like Din, like, they both have like similar moves, because this is the first time we've seen a Force user and a Mandalorian fight in live action since season 2 of Mandalorian, when they introduced Ahsoka.
And that was just a fucking tussle. That was fun. Yeah, that was fun, but it was a tease.
But yeah, dude, fucking Shin versus Sabine was probably one of my favorite fights in modern Star Wars.
I think that answers back to like when she got fucked up in, what was it, episode 1 or 2?
Yeah,
the
end of 1.
The end of 1, when she got stabbed. She didn't have her armor. She wasn't prepared. You know what I'm saying? Like, she got fucked up more than what a lot of us think she should have, and still survived. that just proves how important Beskar armor is to a Mandalorian, though, because it not only like it made her more safe and protected her from stuff, but her whole fucking mindset is different when she puts that fucking helmet on and she's got the rest of her gear on. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Sabine in just regular clothes, I feel like, is just like this lost person who we're not used to. She's not the girl from Rebels that we're used to. She's lost because of everything that's happened, all the years that have gone by, and no fix to anything that happened. You know what I'm saying?
Apparently, her whole family got killed, like during the
I heard that too.
Years.
I heard
was
that
like,
too.
What the
fuck? So I guess that happened with the war on Mandalore.
Yeah, and they said now in the Night of 1,000 Tears, apparently, like all the Clan Ren got demoed.
Oh, did they specifically say that's when it was?
I think so. I think they said during the Purge, if I remember correctly. But I could be wrong. But I thought they made a comment about the Siege of Mandalore is when like her whole family got wiped out.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
So
after
when
she gave Bo-Katan the Darksaber,
when she puts the armor on, it's like game on right there. You know what I'm saying? And I was complaining a little bit about her issues she was having the first couple episodes or whatever, and some of it was like in episode 3, we didn't really talk about her and Sabine sitting down at that nasty ass table that raises out of the floor. Like, do they eat on that fucking table? Like, do they clean it before they eat on it, or they just raise it out of the floor after people been walking around picking their noses and shit, and they just sit at it? You know what I'm saying? I was like, what the fuck? But
I mean, aesthetically, it's
they got
cool,
droids
but
that clean the floor.
Practicality, dude, it doesn't really make that much sense. You're absolutely right. But like,
y'all don't think there's Roombas? Roombo 3PO.
That ain't sanitary.
I'm sure they disinfect when they roll over the thing.
Or do like they got some kind of magic Roomba that we don't know about and that's on certain ships?
Exactly.
But what you were mentioning about Sabine with her armor and when she puts that helmet on, I think what they were trying to emphasize was the lack of oneself and loss that a Mandalorian doesn't have when they don't have their armor on in combat. You know what I mean? It's like you took her confidence and just chopped it immediately in half, and it's almost like she's unsure of herself. You know what I'm saying? Like she's second guessing everything she should do because when you hear the armorer talk about Beskar, it's almost like they talk about it like it's some religious relic. You know what I'm saying? There's it's the mythical Beskar and how it completes the Mandalorian, and I think that's what we witnessed from episode 1 till now is her being incomplete because mentally and physically she doubted herself. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't sure of her movements because she fought 4 times better in episode 4 than she did in episode 1. You know,
she did. I don't know. I still think part of me still thinks Shin should probably have done better. And you know what I'm saying? Because like she's supposed to be a powerful Force user but also we don't know how long she's been trained by Balon either. You know what I'm saying? We don't know how old she is. We don't know how long she's been with him. So she could be a relatively a newbie.
Yeah.
To all of it, and we just don't know it. But so when you think about hyperspace jumps in Star Wars, it's like it's a common ass thing. You know what I'm saying? Like hyperspace jumps, we see it in pretty much everything that we've gotten, every show, every movie that we've ever watched. So how is it that they took in 2 different instances in one episode and made hyperspace jumps so fucking exciting and badass and made the anticipation leading up to it so fucking dope? Like that is something that has not been touched, that it's not been rendered with since it's been a hyperspace dump. They just fucking take off, except for when Holdo did it through the other ship in was it The Last Jedi?
Yeah.
In The Last Jedi. Like, that one was different and that one was cool because she fucking did what she did. But other than that, this is the only time they've really changed stuff about hyperspace jumps. And the first time they did the hyperspace jump in episode 4 is when Hera is finally like, you know what? I'm the fucking general. I'm leaving. I think she took 5 or 6 X-Wings with her.
5. Took 5.
Five
Yeah.
X-Wings with her. The jump that they did, she took off, and then like 2 of them took off, and then 3 of them fucking took off. And
they staggered.
The noise effect, they staggered it, and the noise effect behind it was different than anything we've heard in Star Wars hyperspace jumps ever that I can remember. I don't remember anything like that. And I sat there and I replayed that fucking part like 5 fucking times because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe how exciting they made a hyperspace jump. Like, it's just something that's so common to us. You know what I'm saying? And just that first one, I was just like, holy shit. I was sitting there like, I'm glad I'm not doing a watch party or anything like that, because that was one part where I needed to fucking rewind it. You know what I'm saying? And you're not supposed to do that shit on a watch party. So
well, dude. The one thing after you mentioned, I didn't really catch that, but I'm probably gonna rewatch it and give that a go again.
Need to.
I just rewatched it before we hopped on. But the one thing that like I really did enjoy about that scene was like Hera actually was like, fuck this bullshit. And she flexed on them. She was like, know what? She's like, what are you going to do? Demote me? Like, I won the war for you guys. I'm going out here. I'm going to go do my thing. And I also like the fact that they brought Carson back. I thought that was really cool. He was a part of that mission.
There was another person. Now. I'm going to test y'all right now. There's another person they brought back from the Mandalorian show in this episode.
Was it the other white guy?
No, he was exactly the opposite color of what you just said. As a matter of fact,
the black guy.
Yeah, the one that went up to Hera and told Hera, you're supposed to get permission before you go. That dude is from Mando.
I thought you were talking about the X-wing fighter.
Well, that too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the guy who was talking to her, he was working at one of the stations or whatever during Mando, and he had a spot on there. I can't remember what episode. I'll have to do some research, but I know that dude was in fucking Mando.
Is Carson just Nick Fury? Oh, sorry.
What'd you say?
You said that Carson just Nick Fury.
I'm so happy that they didn't kill him in that scene.
Yeah, I thought they were going to. I really did.
That was such a nerve-wracking scene.
Yeah, it was. And one thing I don't know if you guys noticed this is only the 3rd time in Star Wars where they actually showed the time-sensitive part of the battle on the ground. It was like most of the time it's like, oh, the Death Star, when it gets behind or once it gets from out of orbit around this planet, it'll have a clear shot and it's going to destroy, this planet. But they like I said, there was Returning of the Jedi. There was Rogue One, where they were, hey, we got to get in and out, and it's time sensitive. And then it was this one where they were like, okay, they
did it. The sequels from Starkiller Base also.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of similar.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, but like, I like the way they did that. You know what I'm saying? I like the way that like. I was like biting my nails, being like, "Oh, is Hera and the crew gonna make it in time?" Like, I don't know. This timer seems to be going by pretty quick, or the coordinates seem to be getting uploaded real fast.
Dude.
And I thought that was really cool. And another thing that I did notice also, that they did. I think they did a lot in Mandalorian, but it also made it more. I think more awesome. was the fact that Sabine hasn't used her jetpack once so far. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like once again, we're talking about what completes a Mandalorian, and I feel like she would have trashed that Sith apprentice if she had her jetpack on, because she would have been able to, you know, as they say in Return of the Jet or Revenge of the Sith, I have the high ground. You know, he can flip around and bust an Obi-Wan on the motherfucker.
Here's my question. Did she use the fucking Force, or did she throw some fucking dirt at that bitch?
I think she used the baby Force.
Baby Force push?
Yeah, I don't think she used the Force, because like if you look at how she activated, I think that was how because Mando does it and Boba Fett does it. Whenever they activate their gauntlet, they make a fist and like punch it forward. And
Yeah,
so
I thought she open palmed.
She did. It was an open palm.
No, there was an open palm at first, and the other was like, oh shit, is she gonna use the Force? It kind of took her back, but when she squeezed her hand, that was the actual like, oh shit, like she's actually using her armor the way it's supposed to be used. Like, because I'm gonna say this: if that was Boba Fett in that same situation, he would have fucked her up. Like, I'm just, because he uses everything. You know what I'm saying? The knee rockets, the gauntlet. You know, I mean, the fucking the bantha toothpick. You know, he uses all that shit, bro. And so, like, for me, it's like, you know, having like, because you think about it, she didn't really use all those extra little tidbits in Rebels. It was always blasters and a jetpack or the Darksaber. And, you know, and I thought it was really cool to be like, oh, she's got some hidden weapons up her sleeve, because in the show Mandalorian, they, you know, besides the flamethrower, almost every other Mandalorian has some kind of the flamethrower in the grappling hook or the rappel cord. Those are like the only two similar things. Usually they have some kind of wrist mounted weapon as well, you know?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So
are we going to talk about it?
Yeah, you ready?
Oh, did we forget to mention the Purgil from episode 3?
Oh yeah, we did. We didn't talk about that. Those were dope as fuck.
So, yeah, live action Purgil. Sorry.
You were right. That was really dope.
And all of the CGI in every episode has been very convincing. It's not like, oh, that looks. There's nothing that I think anybody is gonna say that looks bad. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it goes to show that they spent their time, they spent their money on this, and they did it the way that they were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So,
Colton, I thought I saw you going there. Are you about to go there?
Go where? Oh yeah, I was about to go there. Yeah, I think it's about that time. We did miss talking about that though. So everybody was wrong. There isn't a single person on the fucking planet, I can guarantee it, nobody's theory was correct about who the fuck Merrick was.
Yeah, there we go.
Nobody knew it. Mm-hmm. There was Luke theories. There was Ezra theories.
The Luke one was supposed to be stupid, but
and it is, but it's also cool. It's also cool though. But there was so many theories, and this started a couple months ago when the picture of him, the set photos of him fighting Ahsoka came out. So everybody was trying to guess who the fuck it is. So I think that's kind of like that. We're gonna go ahead and mention it. It's the fucking Glup Shido effect at its finest. So every Star Wars, not every Star Wars fan, a lot of Star Wars fans have to tie a character into something. You know what I'm saying? And it's exactly what happened with fucking Merrick. Everybody thought he was somebody, and literally all he is. And I'm not trying to downgrade it. I think it's a dope ass idea. I think Filoni is sitting back there reading fucking shit on the computer, like they think it's this guy. They think it's this guy.
Yeah,
and it's fucking not, dude.
It's literally Arthurian legends. It's like, remember that witch who made a werewolf with magic?
Right.
If I could drop one line real quick, I would say the fact, and I'm the Night Sister magic that created that, like that made me immediately think, holy shit, how powerful is Morgan? Like she created an almost sentient or being out of magic. And
I think it's possible
that
she could be
creature
like the
was
new Mother
able to keep
Talzin.
up with. Yeah, I mean that person was able to keep up with Ahsoka for a little bit, not for the most, not a little bit, but that was like, yo, that made me immediately think like, holy, Morgan's got some fucking cards up her sleeve, bro. Like, what else do we not like? I'm actually a lot more curious about her than I am about Balon now. You know what I'm saying? Because like, what other thing is she hiding? What other skill from the Night Sisters is she hiding? Like, is she a fully trained Night Sister? I'm not sure because she didn't have any tattoos. She only has that one in her forehead, but like maybe that was like incognito. Like we have a spy inside of the Empire, kind of, tattoo or something like that. But that was awesome.
I have a feeling she's going to kind of do like a Savage Opress type thing and take control of a Force user at some point. And that person is really going to fuck some shit up. Balon, I think, is just kind of straightforward, in my opinion. I mean, he thinks he's serving a greater good. He doesn't have a bunch of tricks up his sleeve aside from he's a fucking powerful Force user who was trained in the Jedi way. He's fucking intimidating as fuck. There was some horror aspects when he was fighting Ahsoka.
Bro, his saber skills and the amount of brute power remind me of Savage Opress. You know what I mean? Because remember when he was fighting Obi-Wan, and I think he was fighting Ventress and Obi-Wan at the same time, and he was fucking them up. You know, because remember he force chokes Obi-Wan and then slashes and tosses Ventress across the room, and it's like that's immediately what happened to my brain. I was like, this fool is a fucking beast because he's not very showy. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like his precognition is what he does, only what he needs to do to repel the Force. Like when Sabine ran up and started shooting a blaster at him, boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, whoa, I'm extremely impressed by that character. I feel like you said, the horror aspect, it's almost like when, Freddy or Jason is standing over you and he's about to hit the final blow to finish you off. And then we're like sucked back into reality. It's like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened right there? He is a goddamn beast, bro. And that's what also makes me so curious. What is he? What kind of Jedi is he? He doesn't have yellow eyes. We haven't seen any purple Force lightning. I mean, he does use Force choke and some darker moves, but it's almost like he himself doesn't want to fully commit to the dark side. He's trying to stay in that in between. And bro,
I think he's sold on Thrawn being heir to the Empire.
Yeah,
I said it. He said the thing. He said,
before we get away from it, Micah, while you're talking about Savage Opress and how powerful he is, remind me again, what was it that made Savage Opress become so powerful? And he was a scrawny
Night
little
Sister
guy?
magic.
Exactly,
boom, bro.
So Morlock himself is just like has like a parallel with Savage Opress, where like the same force that powers Savage Opress. I think we just saw that force in like possessing basically like an armored suit and like fighting as like a soldier for.
I don't think it was quite as powerful as Mother Talzin's magic though.
Yeah,
because
but it's like, that's what I'm saying. It's like a toned down version that could basically possess a suit of armor and like work as like I said. I don't know if y'all saw the article I sent about the connection to King Arthur and the witch. Her name was Morgan Le Fay, who had like a werewolf and shit. That was So like, I'm like, dude, that's honestly a really cool thing to just like take magic and give it like a physical form in the Star Wars universe. It's like the most unique thing you could probably do.
Right. Awesome. Well, like we talked about in I think the first podcast for this season, Mother Talzin is so underrated. Like she's fought Mace Windu, she's fought Sidious 1-on-1, and she was like gaining ground on these motherfuckers. Like she's no joke. And like then you also play was it Fallen Jet? Not Fallen Jedi.
Fallen Order.
With Cal Kestis, with Cal Kestis. And they're in that game. You know what I'm saying? And she's a badass. You know what I'm saying? And so like for me, like I'm actually like really, really actually happy that they're also like giving other forces or other cultural differences a bit of light to shine, because like if you're only going to know about the Night Sisters if you watch the Clone Wars. So I mean, I'm sorry, but that's the only medium that they've been covered in so far. But when you see Morgan doing all this stuff, like she created not a Force ghost, but like some kind of green mist super soldier essentially. And think about it, the first fight that Ahsoka fought with him, he actually did pretty well. He was holding his own ground. He was able to do and give them time to escape with the hyperdrive core. And that was, I thought that was really cool. Like I like as a fan, I feel like Filoni is the drug that Star Wars fans need right now. So while they're putting together whatever new elements they have for the Star Wars future, if it does not have Filoni's touch on it, it doesn't linger. It's almost like having like a bad taste in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? When you watch stuff that isn't produced by Filoni, you're like, I don't know, like how do I feel about that? And then when he puts some out,
I mean, after Ahsoka, it's definitely gonna feel like that. I mean, I kind of feel like he needs to touch everything. He needs to oversee.
I mean, like he needs to Joss Whedon this shit, bro. Like all the way up to the first Avengers was pretty, and even all the way, I'll say the whole phase 1 through 3 was I enjoyed it. The Thor movies, but like it was great. It was good. The story made sense. Like I'm really excited for what's coming up, and like I believe that this show was that that kindling that we needed to reignite our belief in Star Wars. And like honestly, the one reason why I love it so much is it's sucking my kid into it. My kid is now like we watch the shows religiously every week when it premieres. I'm like, oh, you can stay up late. We're gonna watch Ahsoka. You know what I'm saying? And I get to share that my love for Star Wars with my son, and watching him be like, Dad, what's this? And then like I go walk by his room and he's listening to some YouTube video about a character, and I'm like, oh, this is exactly what we need. We need to instill Star Wars, the universe, into the next generation. Because, like, if they can't keep us, you know what I'm saying, the secondary generation of fans into Star Wars, what hope is there for the next generation? And
rebellion is built on hope.
From the 3, my man Mando fucking hit the shot, the game-winning shot, bro. That was funny. This motherfucker LeBron us, dude.
Sent him into a tizzy on that one.
This motherfucker hit us like LeBron. Dribble back, take the step, fade, J, eyeballs, game. Like,
What's funny is it's also a fucking quote too. It's like that was hilarious. All right, Balon fighting Ahsoka, and then her getting hit. A lot of people. There's been a couple rumors. Some people think she's dead. I paused it on that.
Truly dead.
No one's ever truly dead.
No.
I paused it on that scene and did a couple stills. She doesn't take any damage to her body or her head.
To me, it looked like
or
she
even her
arms, like Lord of the Rings style.
All I can see is the sparks from the lightsabers hitting each other. I don't see any wounds on her whatsoever.
That's what I thought. I thought she just took like an Aragon tumble.
So no, even then, if you go back to Clone Wars, it's in the first season where they're supposed to attack some dam to shut down the power to a manufacturing, of a place that manufactures weapons, right? And so Anakin's like, "Hey, are you ready for this?" And she's like, "Oh, what?" He's like, "Yeah, we're getting overrun. We got to get out of here." They jump off the top of the dam and use the Force to slow themselves down. Yeah. Like, there's no way Ahsoka's out of the game right now.
I don't like us. That's why I don't think she's dead. There's no way, but she definitely ended up in the world between worlds.
I think she has a spiritual connection to it through her Almorai. That's my guess.
And
something like that.
That is the lore I wanted to bring up. Is she is able to connect to the world between worlds somehow because of her connection to the daughter. Which
I think that's
back to what happened in Clone Wars when she fucking died and gave her life for the daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Even that, dude, if we go back to Mandalorian, remember when she goes out to fight Mando for the first time, there's that owl sitting
that's
the
tree more
watching over Ahsoka.
That is the daughter. The sister.
Yeah,
is it the daughter or the sister? What do they call her?
Well,
the daughter, right?
Yeah, it's the daughter, but she's also the sister
of
to the brother.
God damn it. It's confusing.
Yeah. So I mean, but like you said, dude, like
who's also the son?
Yeah,
I feel Catholic right now.
Oh, one thing we glossed over real quick. I would have mentioned this when Ahsoka first walks up on Baylan, right? He talks about her relationship to Anakin. And whether she saw his downfall in the Force, is that why she left him? This makes me believe that maybe Baylan and Anakin were in the same class as apprentices at the temple, because he's talking as if he's got some actual, like, hey, I've spent time.
He definitely knew him. He definitely knew him.
Yep,
for sure, 100%.
He says, like, "Hey, did you know what he was going to become?" Because he's like, not everyone realized the monster he would be. And, he turned Darth Vader is a fucking a savage across the fucking galaxy, bro. Everybody fears that mother. But I thought that was really cool. And then, like, another note I wrote down was I think that like we mentioned this earlier, he is a goddamn powerhouse, bro. Like, I've never seen somebody. He may have only had like 10, 15 saber connections, but every time he hit Ahsoka's blade, he overpowered her. Remember, because at the end, before she gets pushed off the cliff, she's actually trying to use the Force to bolster her power behind the blade, and he just bitch.
Right before that happened, there's a catalyst to that. Mm-hmm. So Shin Hati walks up. And Ahsoka Force chokes her, lifts her up, and then fucking slams her against that rock, which I thought was fucking dope and brutal as shit.
Yep.
She does that, and he sees that, and he's like, "Oh, fuck no!" His strikes at that point were twice as hard as what they were before.
I think she
stood no chance. She stood no chance whatsoever. He beat her. I think it was only 3 or 4 strikes he threw after that, but he beat her to the fucking edge of that fucking cliff.
Yeah,
and it was done.
He beat her to her knees.
Is that his daughter?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I mean, like
I feel like that might be his girl.
He's not a true Sith. We know that. We know he's not a Darth. So I mean, like,
I wouldn't be surprised if that's his daughter. If it's like The Last of Us, kind of like Joel's situation where he rescued Shin and he's like a father figure to her now. But either way, that's an attack. Like, he cares about Shin more.
I think it's more of a master apprentice relationship. I don't think they're actually related.
You don't think there's like a personal? I just feel like there's more than just master and apprentice there. I felt like he took that.
I mean,
very
but
personal.
Think about it, dude. Anakin was the same way about Ahsoka. Like, whenever Ahsoka got hurt or captured, he was on beast mode. Like, think about it.
He did.
When has Ahsoka ever been in shit in the Clone Wars and Anakin did not literally go Super Saiyan and immediately overpower someone he couldn't overpower earlier before? Like I believe it is the master apprentice, but in that master apprentice relationship, there's almost like, you know, a father daughter, or, you know,
because they're not confined by the rules of the Jedi, so they can have an actual
attachment.
So they can have an actual attachment and connection to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it's
I'm just getting like a very fatherly vibe from him.
It's not.
He's daddy.
I was like, either you're gonna say it or I'm gonna say it. Somebody's gonna fucking say it. But
he's forced daddy.
Like I was saying, I don't think it's just the master and apprentice relationship. I think it's that plus they actually have emotional connection to each other. I'm not saying like a love connection.
I feel like they're surviving together. Like
exactly.
their survival is very important to each other. You know,
right.
I just love that whole emotional scene. And another thing, going back to what you were saying, Mike, about how powerful Balon is. Was he able to like almost like Kylo, like read thoughts and like feelings?
He has something like that. Yeah, he has.
Because that's how he knew about Anakin having the darkness in him before he left the Order. Because he wasn't there like when, you know, all that shit went down to Anakin, but he was able to look into Anakin and be like, "Yeah, you're probably gonna like cause genocide."
I mean, like, let's see. So, like the one thing right after that fight with Ahsoka, when Sabine shows up, right? And her attachment to Ezra, you know what I mean? I think that might be what's actually hindering her ability to connect with the Force. Because, dude, like, to make the decision to be like, okay, just to know where one person who, you know, I have this brotherly sister kind of relationship with, maybe, I'm not sure, I can't remember if they had any kind of romantic relationship. Right, so... But like she was literally like, "Hey, damn the whole Republic! I want to know where Ezra is. I need Ezra back in my life." Right, and so like that. Go ahead.
No, well, I was just gonna add to your point. Like I thought when she actually gave the map to Balon, the anticipation leading up to her doing that was amazing. They have a real good way of building anticipation in the Ahsoka show. Where I think they've kind of missed on that in the past a little bit, but it's like almost every scene they're building the anticipation for something that's going to happen, and it left me, especially this last episode, maybe not the whole season, but this last episode, I was like on my seat, awaiting, trying to predict, like ready for what the fuck is coming next. The countdown machine where they're counting down the timer to where they're going to go. Take off into hyperspace, like that was intense as fuck. Just waiting on that to happen, you know. And then the artwork, the way that it was designed was so beautiful as well. You know what I'm saying? It was very prestigious looking, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
So that whole setup with the map, it reminded me of when Din Djarin took Grogu to that planet to sit by those those pillars, right? Yep.
Yeah.
And so, like, the one thing that, like, when I saw the green fire come out and start lighting it up, and I was like, "Oh, that's Night Sister magic," and I was like, "Is this the Night Sister version or equivalent of that?" You know, and that's one of the first things that popped in my mind. I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute!" So even the Night Sisters have places where they can go to either gain knowledge or, you know, whatever it may be. I thought that was really cool.
Meditate.
That kind of connection to be like, hey, like there are other known forces in the galaxy that are powerful, that can influence the outcome of the galaxy, and I believe that was one of those spots. And you know, I've already mentioned how strong Morgan is. Okay, so one thing I don't know if you guys picked up on this, was Jason at the end of the episode says, "I have a bad feeling about this."
That's when I cried. That was when I cried.
Well, instantly, I was like,
I'm gonna admit it. I was crying through most of the entire episode, just from the fact of how fucking good it was. I was so thankful that I'm sitting there with tears running down my face, because I'm like, dude, we finally are getting something that is like mind-blowing Star Wars material on a TV show that we can binge watch, and we're getting a new episode each week. You know what I'm saying? For 8 weeks in a row, and we can potentially get a second season. And it's like, this is the level that shit should be on. So I was sitting there like, I was fucking literally had tears running down my face before we even got to the emotional shit. Because I was just so happy about how good the fucking episode was.
Also, when he said that, the first thing that popped into my mind was like, okay, so they take off, they go through this, they go into hyperdrive. What I thought the next scene would have been like a flashing light coming, and all you see is the top of a head, and then you roll up and you see red eyes, and then fade to black. Nothing. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna be in this motherfucking episode. Oh shit, like this is gonna be the fucking bomb, bro. But after that, there was a World Between Worlds. What do you guys think about Hayden Christensen coming back and doing Anakin again? I feel like they should have gave him a couple more lines.
I thought it was his line perfect though.
Yeah, you got to realize the leaks and rumors for Episode 5 is that it's mostly Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka for most of the episode.
I can refute that. If you go on IMDb, Internet Movie Database, when you look at the cast list, it says he only appears for one episode. Okay, and so
that can't be true because they just set it up for him to appear in next episode. So,
I mean, who knows?
I don't think they have accurate information because you got to realize they don't release stuff like that. It's exactly why they were like, "Oh, Plo Koon is gonna save Grogu at the end of season 2," and we literally had pictures that Dave Filoni fucking photoshopped Plo Koon's head onto Luke Skywalker. So that we would.
I never saw that, but that's fucking funny.
You didn't know that?
No.
Okay, when they were advertising, they were kind of, but they refused to let anyone know that it was Luke Skywalker. So everyone on set had to sign this super fucking extensive non-disclosure agreement about it, and there was the only people who were on set was anybody who absolutely fucking needed to be there. If they didn't need to be there, they were not there. They didn't see the scene get filmed at all. And anybody who was there, who they basically had that guy. He looked like Luke Skywalker, but they told everybody he's a stand-in, and they're gonna CGI Plo Koon over his head. And that's who it's going to be. So even the people who were like shooting it with the cameras and stuff didn't really know it was Luke Skywalker when they were fucking shooting it. So they released set photos trying to prepare us for the show. And it's fucking it's Luke Skywalker's body, and it's got Plo Koon's head.
God damn it, Filoni! Yeah. You're trolling us. I don't agree with this. I didn't vote for it.
It was a good idea, but that's why I don't think IMDb would have accurate information.
Well, no, because it shows everybody else only having 4 episodes, and their main characters.
I think that probably goes off of the trailers. Even though we didn't see Hayden in the trailer, they probably knew he's in at least one episode.
But, you might be right.
They announced it back in the day.
Well, it says Mon Mothma is only in 1 episode, and we know that's already fucking false.
Yeah, she was in 2 already. So yeah, I mean, I don't believe that whatsoever. The leaks say from people, because they let people pre-screen these episodes a week in advance for these shows, and the leaks are saying that this next episode is fucking Hayden Christensen's episode. And I mean, holy shit, how good did he look? He looked like Revenge of the Sith Anakin, End of the Clone Wars Anakin. I mean, it didn't look anything like he did in Kenobi.
Old man face.
In Kenobi, he looked 40. In Kenobi, he looked 40 years old when he's supposed to be 21 or something.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't de-age him in Kenobi like they did.
It was a ridiculous decision. to not correct that.
Hello, fellow Padawans.
Hello, fellow Padawan. Oh shit!
Master
my
Skywalker,
God.
the stormtroopers are in the temple.
Isn't that a Steve Buscemi meme?
Yeah,
the original. Yeah,
he's like, "Hello, fellow kids."
It's a fucking Steve Buscemi meme.
Oh,
That's a 2012 meme right there, I believe.
Yeah,
that's an
very
old
old.
one. What was I saying?
We were talking about Hayden Christensen coming back.
Oh, he looked
multiple episodes.
He looks so fucking good compared to what we saw in Kenobi. I was just sitting there like, oh, I couldn't believe it. He looks so much like what he's supposed to fucking look like. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
did y'all notice something? He has his mechanical hand.
Yes.
As a Force Ghost.
Mm.
Do you remember what he looked like in Return of the Jedi as a Force Ghost?
Like a fucking old man.
No. They redid it.
I know. That was a bad joke.
I'm not sure if he had.
Damn it! I messed your joke up.
I wasn't sure if he was out.
No,
Michael Jackson.
He doesn't. Oh. He is Anakin at the age he's supposed to have a mechanical hand, but he doesn't have a mechanical hand as a Force Ghost because I believe, and this could be Legends lore, and they could be changing it, but you're supposed to be one with your normal self when you become a Force Ghost. You're not going to have any mechanical parts. You're going to have the parts that you're supposed to have or that you used to have or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's why Anakin.
You tell me when I die. Oh, sorry.
You're gonna have your legs back.
You telling me when I die and go to heaven?
on that, do you guys think, since there's some kind of connection with Ahsoka and the sister or the daughter, is she going to appear? Because I mean, they did it in Mandalorian, and only the people who watch the Clone Wars were like, "Oh shit, no, they didn't, motherfucker." We were wilding out, but like, I mean, they're in the world between worlds. Like, what's stopping them from being like, "Oh, the sister helps guide Ahsoka," and whatever it may be. Because there is some kind of connection. Otherwise, why would they have? And that was a Filoni directed episode, by the way. And so, why would they have the owl of the sister there if they weren't going to bring her back? Because that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I feel
yeah, I get what you're
like
saying.
that would be the perfect alley-oop to a slam dunk, it would. I mean, imagine if we watch an episode 5 and then Anakin's talking to Ahsoka, giving her advice, and then all of a sudden this Force goddess comes out of nowhere and it's like, "I've been watching over you, Ahsoka. Keep doing what you're doing. You're on the righteous path of the Force." And then hint at Thrawn. I mean, I don't know how they're going to introduce Thrawn, but I'd hope it's it better not be some kind of bullshit a door opens and it's just him walking through. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be something better than that.
Hi, I own Facebook.
So the leaks, and we've talked about this on streams before, the leaks for what's going to happen in the world between worlds is she's supposed to see that even if it was her on Mustafar fighting not fighting Obi-Wan, even if it was her fighting Anakin instead of Obi-Wan, the outcome was still going to be the same, and Anakin was still going to become Darth Vader. He was still going to lose his limbs. He was still going to burn, regardless of it being Ahsoka or Obi-Wan. And that's what she's supposed to see. That's what she's supposed to participate in. She's supposed to actually fight Anakin. So I believe that we're going to get her talking to Anakin, whether this is his Force Ghost or this is something else. We're going to get that scene. If it really is his Force Ghost, this is going to be the true retribution of Anakin Skywalker, because we kind of got it at the end of Return of the Jedi when he passes away in Luke's arms.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of get he redeems himself slightly people will argue the shit out of it because he killed children and all that stuff. But he redeems himself. But if that is truly his Force ghost and not something else, this is going to be the true redeeming of Anakin Skywalker. He is going to talk to fucking Snips. And the fact that he called her fucking Snips made me cry.
Yeah, that's when I got me again.
Hey man, like I say, man, almost every podcast, we're at a nexus point in the Star Wars universe. They're either going to knock this motherfucker out of the park, or they're going to sink this fucking ship. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm hoping, like they gave Filoni full rights to do what he needs to do to get this done, but like it either can go up from here or down from here. We're at that almost at the zenith of the mountain. So I believe that we should, especially on this next episode, we should all take down notes, because today was fucking awesome. It was smooth today. We hit a lot of waypoints in the episode. We got multiple perspectives, even of theories and whatever. And then we also got Mando over here who's got his Dave Chappelle mask on, cracking jokes the whole time. All right, so I'm really excited, man, about next week's episode, and I can't wait to watch it. Like the anticipation right now for the next episode after this one ended, it's like, I mean, holy shit, dude! Like Grand Admiral Thrawn finally in live form.
I don't think we're gonna get him next episode though. I think it's gonna be the one after. I don't think it'll be.
Are they literally Moff Gideon him?
Yeah, probably.
They did.
4 or 5. Well, no, it would be the last 3 episodes instead of 2.
It's like it worked out for what's his face. So let's just, every time we have a really cool villain who's going to be able to monologue like a motherfucker, only gets to be the last 3 episodes.
Well,
can't put him in the whole show.
I mean, how long is it going to take for them to travel to that other galaxy? You know what I'm saying? It's like, Is it going to take a couple days, a couple weeks? Like, is it pretty fucking instant? Because you got to think, like, having 5 hyperdrives or 6 hyperdrives on one ship instead of just one, and then, having to go where they're going, it doesn't sound like they're going to get there overnight. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
There probably has to be a little bit of filler for an episode.
Yeah,
is what I'm thinking.
So yeah, because anything like a path engine, it has to go in like sections where it's like you go A to B, B to C. You can't just go all the way there at once.
Well, no, because like if you look at when that map is being deciphered, they don't show that beam jumping into spots.
Oh yeah, it's just a straight line.
It's just a straight line.
A straight tunnel.
Another thing I'm curious about is that also going to act like a hyperdrive slingshot, to where it can like tractor beam catch and drag ships through to it, because everybody else, Hera's ship, Carson's ship, the other X-wings were in the center of that kind of, in that void that makes up the interior of the ring, and they're everything goes haywire. Systems exploding, sparks over here, wings getting ripped off. So I was wondering, like, I want to know how they're gonna rationalize that. You know what I'm saying? Because like everything else has just got one hyperdrive engine, so that one has 6 to get to a galaxy that technically no one's ever been there before. And
it's like a whole different.
Unless you rode on the Purgil.
Actually, no, I don't. That might not be true, because they're at a Night Sister location, and it's showing them how to get.
Yeah, I mean, galaxy. somebody has to have traveled in between the 2 galaxies before. Otherwise, how the fuck would they know about it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm assuming they had to have traveled naturally though, without a Eye of Sion.
What if we get like the Yuzon Vong or
the Gris
or the Gris, like some kind of threatening
Yeah,
Not
because that's the whole point of why
necessarily
Thrawn
race,
joined the
but
Empire was to like protect the Chiss from another outside, enemy to
from
like
the
make
Gris,
his
right?
people stronger.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the new canon's the Gris. Yeah,
Right.
so like
Hey,
that would be cool to see. That'd
we're
be a
up for
good
some
villain for the
treats.
movies.
Huh?
It's true. I mean, is it a trilogy or is it just one?
What, the Thrawn books or the movie?
No. The movies are. I believe there's supposed to be three. Like
what?
so, for the rise to the heir to the empire, there's three books, and so
Oh yeah, there's
like
3 Heir to the Empire books, and then there's 6 new canon novels that take place between episodes 3 and 4 that are all about Thrawn too, that they can like use for lore and background better.
Huh.
It's a lot of detail.
The only movie, there's 3 movies that are confirmed, but the only one that has to do in this universe, okay, this time frame, not universe, time frame, is supposedly going to be a combination of pretty much everything we've had in the shows, ending in a movie finale. Which is it's supposed to be like an Infinity War Endgame type thing. There might be, it might be a
I hope it's
trilogy.
3 hours long.
Well, it probably would be a lot longer than that. It'd probably be a movie. Well, okay, you mean per movie, right? Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah.
So on that, what happened if it's a part 1, part 2, part 3? All the same movie, but then that also gives them time to market, build up more funds for the secondary movie to come out, and then the same thing for the third. To be honest, if this is like a 2-hour or an hour and a half, hour and 45-minute movie, it's going to be trash because you're going to try to force so much shit together in 2 hours, and it's not going to make any sense. You know what I mean?
And I feel like it's a challenge because when you make a movie, you have to kind of keep the mindset of like it's a movie. You know what I mean? Like people have to be able to come and watch it and be able to be like, I don't need to technically see everything before it to enjoy it, but it would make more sense. I don't know. I feel like it's a challenge. Like what they're doing is a big challenge in a way, and that's why like a time constraint could fuck you.
It worked with the Avengers because because there's people I know who are like, oh man, like, oh, this new Endgame movie is gonna come out. What's that about? And I'm, oh, you didn't pay attention to Infinity War or anything before that? I'll say, hey, watch the first episode or first of all the trilogies of whatever superhero it is, and then watch the last 2 movies. That'll help it make sense to you. Because otherwise, you're gonna be fucking. I mean, you're gonna be pissing in a rainstorm. It's gonna be so much information dropped on you from Mandalorian, from Ahsoka, from from Book of Boba Fett, from Andor, from all these shows coming together, and you're not gonna. Honestly, if I wasn't a fan of Star Wars and I went and saw this movie, I'd be lost in the fucking sauce. Like I'd be like, who's this character?
Yeah.
Why is he important? What makes this villain so?
I think there's a lot of people who are in fact lost in the sauce for the Ahsoka show.
Yeah.
My
dad.
Specifically, people who have not watched Rebels for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think if you haven't watched Rebels, you're probably like, who the fuck are these people?
But
as a piece of art, it's doing so good though.
Yeah, but the caveat to that is my wife, because she didn't understand what was going on, is watching the Clone Wars and watching Rebels.
Since she started Ahsoka, or she had
no, since Mando. So because he was like, what's the backstory of this? And I'm like, well, you can Google it, or you can actually get the complete story. I'm like, if you want to go ahead and read the Cliff Notes, go to Wikipedia and just look it up real quick. But like, it does spark that interest, and I think that's what they learned from the MCU is if you put the breadcrumbs out there, people will, I know multiple people before Endgame or Infinity War came out, they watched the entire series of 22 movies before Endgame or Infinity War.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like It might, Hansel and Gretel these motherfuckers and lead them to the Wicked Witch's house. You never know.
Sure.
But
I mean,
like,
that's
like
what
I
I'm
said,
getting at is like
if
Infinity
it's,
War is a good movie on its own, though. Still, if that makes sense. Like my
Mhm.
dad never watched a single Marvel movie, but he went and saw Infinity War, and he was able to like understand the overall like overlooming threat and what. That's what I'm saying. Like they have to make a movie basically as good as Infinity War within Star Wars for it to be a success, which is a lot of fucking pressure.
dude, that is a shit ton
After
of
this,
pressure.
after this last episode, though, after this last episode of
He can do it.
Ahsoka, they have the fucking tools to do it. You know what I'm
They can
saying?
do it.
Like,
Especially
they,
when like they're not going to be restricted by the volume doing a movie anymore. Like
But
they're
I
going to get
also
the kind
think,
of like stage budgets to do big sets and everything.
well, I also think since, I mean, dude, they're spending millions of dollars per episode for TV to help garnish enough money to make the actual movie, because like the CGI in the shows is better. I mean, like if you compared Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Ahsoka to the Flash movie, for instance, you would be like, oh, I mean, honestly, like if I watched the Flash, not watching, and then watch the Matrix Reloaded, where they have that pole fight, I'd be like, oh, so this movie came out in the early 2000s. I mean, the CGI was trash.
Bro,
trash.
I'm scared to rewatch that movie outside of the theater.
Which one?
The Flash.
The Flash? Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have.
You have?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it just, as Mike has said, it feels like someone just kind of slopped together what they had of 8 years of production and just put it out there because they had to get rid of it finally.
There was
there was a lot
of the storyline that
I've ever seen.
Well, no, it's not, and I liked a lot of the story to it. It's just some of the fucking CGI is so off-putting.
Bro, when they
I feel like they decided they weren't going to finish it.
I mean, like this is the thing, okay? Where most of these movies fuck up is with reshoots. Okay, it's like some movies it's like Spider-Man, for instance. It was, they were like, hey, you know what? A lot of people in the pre-screenings like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. We're not going to kill him off like we were originally planned. So we'll bring him back and we'll make an alternate ending for that, right? A lot of people appreciated that. That was a good choice. But like if you're going to do like they did for Justice League or Batman v Superman, even Wonder Woman 1989 or 1984, dude, they ruined the movie with reshoots. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
because of stupid marketing.
Praying Filoni, they give him the pimp hand, and he can just slap the bullshit away. You know what I'm saying? Because like, hey, I mean, honestly,
it makes you question what did he have to slap away just to finish this last episode. You know what I'm saying? Like,
please don't make me make them fly like they're on helicopters. Please don't make them fly like they're on helicopters.
What I will tell you is they didn't make the Captain Marvel mistake. Everyone knows Ahsoka's a badass Jedi, but they're still they make Balon a convincing adversary to Ahsoka. Like that last lightsaber battle was a ass whooping. Like she I don't think at one point did she have the upper hand at all.
No, she was pretty much on defensive the whole time.
Yep. And so, like, if the apprentice of one of the most badass Jedis, period, couldn't handle Balon, like, it makes me wonder, like, what's
and Ahsoka is no pushover either. Even regardless of the fact that she was trained by Anakin, she is one of the best lightsaberists in the fucking galaxy, if not ever in the galaxy. Like just from Clone Wars, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just she's that fucking good. So for him to be that powerful and to have that much of a advantage over her, kind of shows exactly what she's dealing with, because that dude's not a joke.
Well, it's almost like, and tell me if you guys disagree with this. It's almost like Balon's got Shatterpoint skill, because when you think about almost every time they meet Blades, he overpowers her, or she's trying to do something fancy and he, throws her off balance. It's like he can see the weak point in her fighting style. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, dude, like, I'm actually like, fuck, Ray Stevenson passed. Rest in peace. This character that they put together is brilliant. You know, like if you're, I mean, like, think about it. If you're gonna create a new character and you want him to seem like a menacing tyrant, a dictator, or whatever, right? And when he fights, like you said, one of the best lightsaber duelists in the history of the Jedi, and handles her like a sack lunch, he went all. I mean, when I was watching this episode, I was so it stuck to the television. I think I might have started drooling. I couldn't get enough of this. Like, even watching it again, my 3-year-old son stopped watching Coco Melon, stopped doing whatever he was doing on his tablet, and he looks and he goes, "Oh, Daddy, he's strong." And I'm like, "Yeah, like that's." If my 3-year-old can pick that up from one scene, what it lets you know is Balon's not a joke. He's not someone to take lightly. And the fact that they have this unofficial Sith Lord, who else is out there? You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said earlier, it seems like he might have had a personal relationship with Anakin. Like, if Anakin was alive, they would be the same age.
Pretty much. Yep.
You know?
Balin
so,
knows. Okay.
Hey, that's all I got for you guys. Like I said, man, I am getting my Star Wars crack in. I'm loving it. Like, I'm loving that my fix is getting hit right now. I got the good plug.
I wanted a quote from Ray Stevenson. He told Ahsoka, he said, from Balon, he said, "Your legacy is one of destruction and death, just like your masters." And I was like, "Oh shit, that was so fucking dope."
You know what that reminded me of when you said that? Do you guys ever see that meme where he's like, "You're a victim," and all the people go like this, like, "Oh shit," they all go crazy. he's like, "You're a victim of circumstance, bitch." He's like, almost, yeah. I mean, almost everything that Anakin's had a hand in is crumbled. Obi-Wan, went and had his little PTSD thing. Ahsoka was like, "I can't handle the bullshit. I'm gonna go do my own thing." His relationship with Luke, he was like, "How the fuck are you gonna be like, hey, I'm your father, but I'm gonna chop your hand off?" You know what I'm saying?
And never pay child support.
I think we pretty much covered. There was a lot to fucking cover. I'm sure we missed some stuff. Any closing notes from anybody? Travis, you've been so.
He's stoic. No, he's stoic. Travis is our search engine.
He's been over there. He's been over there.
Pull that up.
He's been over there gaming the whole time. He's like, "Well, I'm podcasting and I'm gaming." Like,
Travis has got a light. He's got a laser pen, and he's like, "You see here, guys, right here at this point in the scene, he's actually wearing a purple helmet." I just got
talking about Snoop Dogg. You talking about Mount Westmore? That shit goes hard.
You know what would make this even better? Because we know Ahmad Best's character didn't die. What if he shows up in the movie?
See,
I'm just gonna be like, how many fucking Jedi lived? God damn it!
Yeah, I know.
Just kidding.
I thought I'm cool if it's people we already knew lived, but it's kind of getting weird at this point. But when Sabine was getting bested by Shin Hati in the forest, I thought a Jedi or something was going to show up out of nowhere and rescue her, and I was hoping it was going to be Quinlan Voss. But I don't know. I just right then I was thinking like somebody's got it. Like she doesn't stand a chance. Somebody's got to save her. But nobody.
You want to hear my Star Wars theory? They're not going to do shit with that Quinlan Voss tease from Kenobi ever. And
they need to fucking suck it if that's what I mean.
I swear to God, like I have this terrible foreboding feeling that plot line is going to go nowhere because Filoni and Favreau really weren't that involved with Kenobi. They were kind of on their own. The show was basically considered mediocre.
I don't know though. I feel like
I don't know if they're going to do shit with that. And I feel like we may have been teased.
maybe
That's my
maybe
theory.
Filoni will come through for us.
I hope so, but it's just like his era so far off from the Kenobi and Andor era that like it's once again like if anyone can survive through the whole original trilogy era, it's Quinlan Vos. But people like my dad are getting real confused because they're like, I thought all the Jedi were gone, but they're all dead.
you're just listen, boomer. Like,
well, it's getting really hard to explain. Like,
no, I mean you can explain it with one like clip when Yoda is on what's the Wookiee planet Kashyyyk. When Yoda's on Kashyyyk, there were multiple Jedi, and that's what the whole flashback or the flash forward is when they're killing all Order 66 went down. There were so many Jedi spread across the galaxy that like there's got to be at least 10 that maybe survived, because I mean, like, think about this, bro. Like, if Obi-Wan was able to suppress his force powers, and remember, even in the beginning of Obi-Wan, there's a goddamn Jedi sitting in the middle of the fucking cantina. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so,
and like I said,
there is a possibility, but it is confusing. But like, think about it, bro. You got a couple hundred people spread across the galaxy. If 10 of them survive, how's that a far toss?
Well, Order 66 was supposedly targeted at 10,000 Jedi. So, I mean, you can't, like, you got to think, like, out of 10,000, I would think at least a couple hundred fucking got away. You know what I'm saying? At some point, does it get overwhelming? Sure.
Yeah.
But knowing that number, 10,000
I guess the point is, like, why aren't these people...
What were you saying?
I guess your logic you have to worry about is like, why didn't they come up and help the rebellion during like the most crucial time when they needed to overthrow the Emperor? Why someone like Quinlan Vos wouldn't come out of hiding is kind of like the right around you have to do, because they're doing it with Ahsoka right now.
Well, Quinlan Vos
do it well with the writing.
Quinlan Vos in the comic book is fucking Asajj Ventress. So what, like?
I know he is, but like after she dies, like he's gone through this whole arc after the towards the end of the Clone Wars with Dark Disciple. So I'm like, Quinlan Vos working on the path and helping Jedi escape is like plus, like that's what he should be doing. That's what he would be doing, and that's why it's hard for me to imagine that he wouldn't be trying to kill the Emperor if he was still alive. Like, you know what I mean? That's
bro.
Like, I mean, they could always, write something that he was tied up, he was imprisoned, he was,
that's what I'm saying. Or what if Quinlan Vos is like hanging out with Thrawn, like where Thrawn is already? Who knows? I could be insane.
I will be pissed if they never touch on that again. I will be pissed. I will.
And that's my theory, that they're not gonna.
So just I'm gonna end it on this, and I want you guys to ruminate on this.
All right.
Nihilus tortured Revan for, was it 300-400 years?
My nipples still hurt from that.
And kept him alive and tortured him for so many years that people didn't even remember his name, except for the Great Mandalorian War. So, like, think about that. If a Sith Lord can torture you and keep you alive for a quarter of a millennia, what I mean, the possibilities are endless. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like,
so they just, like I said, it's going to take good writing to do these things. That's all I'm saying. And if they do it cheaply, I'm going to be more upset than if they just left it alone. That's all I'm getting at.
I think if it's Filoni, I have a feeling that once the reception is fully received for Ahsoka, once the show's completed, we've seen the finale, the critics have said their word, we are going to see Filoni get he's going to be promoted. Like, he's going to be the fucking man at Lucas. He is going to take Kathleen Kennedy's job. Like, 100%.
Hey, please do. Please, because this is the thing. I have no problem with women's empowerment, but the trend across Disney as an entire whole acts if like there's no male role models out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if like they did it in Marvel.
It's not just necessarily that in all. My thing about Kathleen is just some of the shit that she says as a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, it does trickle into the stuff that we get on screen a bit, and I do agree with you to an extent, but my issue is more with the person, because I think she's just a ridiculous person. But we're not here to talk about all that shit.
True. But if we can get Jeb back, what would you guys think about that?
About what?
I don't know why he's not even in the show yet. I figured we would have had.
Yeah, like, I thought Zeb was going to be with like the Alpha Rangers.
Yeah,
all the Alpha Rangers, however you say their fucking name.
If you would have asked me, I thought he would have already been here.
Yeah, I was really shocked that like he wasn't in that X-wing formation.
Yeah, he's not a pilot, but I like being on board, having Chopper and Zeb in there fucking with each other, you know, even if it was just a joke, like that would have been
just,
so
I feel like
good.
They're holding on to that a little bit longer. I feel like it has to happen.
But dude, I mean, that was a show. The what was it? The Star Wars Rangers or what was it? The Cara Dune show.
The Rangers of the New Republic.
Yeah.
Rangers.
Cara
like,
Dune
what a horrible
show,
way. What if that's how they canceled it? They just killed all of them off real quick.
That would have been a perfect time
canceled.
to bring him back in the picture and flesh his character out for people who didn't watch Rebels. But they canceled that show. You know what I'm saying? So
Did they actually cancel it? I thought they were reworking it.
I got my fingers crossed. I mean, they might be.
It doesn't work without Cara Dune. Like, the show was about her.
I thought it was going to end up being about Carson now, is what I last heard. But I mean,
I'd have to do some research.
Last I heard they were going to make the show about Carson.
Dude, Carson's too old. He's too old to be like a main feature. Because
I know that's what I thought too. But they were talking about making the show about like.
Yeah, I don't.
He's Nick Fury.
From what I read is that show was written for Cara Dune's character.
Likewise, so that's what I've heard.
So the smart thing would be, it'd be smart to get rid of it. But yeah, I heard a rumor that they were rewriting it to like have Zeb and Carson and all that. And I'm like,
no, well,
then I wouldn't complain.
Fuck Cara Dune. Have it about Zeb. Zeb is a great character.
Yeah.
I love
Stephen Bloom's awesome. Like
his little kitty squabbles he used to have with Ezra and Rebels used to make me die inside with laughter because Zeb's like this fucking 50-year-old alien, and he's over here smoking and joking with like a 14-year-old. You know what I mean? Getting into little kid trouble. I would love to see
cool
that.
Uncle.
And take the focus, shift it to him, give him the ball, and let him run with it. And then that way, when he comes into a movie or something like that, it's not like that one. It's like how Filoni shows up in episodes. Oh, I'm wearing a cowboy hat. That's me. You know, it's not one of those things. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a major part of Rebels, the Rebels culture in the fandom. Bring his ass in. You know,
we gotta get him at some point this season. I'm just surprised we haven't got him yet. That being said, I think this is probably the longest fucking podcast we've ever done.
Yeah,
an hour and 43 minutes. I am also tired and need to get up extremely early. So
all right, guys, it was awesome.
Let's see what happens next week, and I'm sure we're going to be back next week. And I don't think we're going to wait 2 weeks again because of how good it's last.
Hey, can we get a watch party for episode 6? Is anybody in? I'm in.
I'm down. Yeah, I mean, I can't promise I'm not going to cry the whole time.
No. Like get an initial. Like everyone view it on your own, and then we'll set up a time to do a watch party. You know that way at the end we can talk about it for a half hour and have some fun.
Sounds good.
And that way we won't be mad at each other if we talk over it, like during it playing. We'll be shut the fuck up.
Oh no, we're gonna watch it all the way through. We're gonna watch it all the way through, but at least that way we can go rewind it back to certain things and watch a clip because that's not against the YouTube guidelines. We're actually talking about a small snippet, and it wouldn't be like airing the whole thing without any content. Or as long as we review it, I don't think it goes against YouTube guidelines. But if that's the only thing we have is just the show, that would go against YouTube guidelines.
Yeah,
right.
For copyright. But hey, guys, have a good night, man.
All right.
This was awesome. I appreciate you guys, man. This is always fun.
For sure. I'll see y'all next week.
Yes, sir.